Today, we're going to walk through a really powerful and really personal story of transformation. It's a journey that takes us from the kind of sharp, isolating pain you can feel when you're young, all the way to this profound new understanding of what life's journey actually looks like. And it all starts right here, with this one single line. It just immediately drops you into this quiet, contemplative space, a moment of stillness where someone is looking back, ready to make sense of it all. All right, so the first leg of this journey is what he calls the spiral down. And this is all about what it feels like to be completely, utterly trapped in a cycle of pain, especially when you're young. When he was a young man, the pain wasn't some vague, abstract feeling. No, he describes it as something real, something you could almost touch. It was hard and sharp, a raw, physical kind of suffering that's just impossible to make sense of. And you can just feel how that pain showed up, right? It wasn't just in his head, it was this physical act of circling, pointing at the wall, going round and round, even pulling out his own hair. It's such a potent image of being stuck in this inescapable loop of anguish. In this detail, wow, it just gets you. The metallic taste of blood? Why? From biting his lip just to stay quiet. That tells you everything, doesn't it? The pain was massive, but it was also all turned inward, hidden from everyone else. And this is really the image that sums it all up. This is the core metaphor for this whole period of his life. He felt like he was caught in a funnel, just spiraling down and around. There was no way out, no direction to go but down, an unstoppable descent. But, even in the middle of that chaotic spiral, there were lifelines. And that brings us to our next part, the prayers as anchors. These were the things that gave him at least a little bit of stability in the middle of the storm. He talks about two key protectors that got him through. First was this sort of checked out state he calls the comfortable numb, where everything felt kind of distant and blurry, almost like looking through binoculars the wrong way. And the second protector, the ritual of nightly prayers, the Our Father, the Hail Mary, recited over and over and over. And here's the thing you've got to get about this. These prayers weren't just words he was saying. As he puts it, they were his meditation. He just didn't have the word for it yet. The repetition, the rhythm, the feeling of the rosary beads in his hands. It was this intuitive spiritual practice that anchored him when everything else was chaos. Okay, so every journey like this has a turning point, right? A climax. And in this story, it's a storm, both literally and figuratively. This next part, confronting the lightning, is that moment. It's a moment of absolute surrender. So try to picture this. He's sitting by a fire under a little canvas teepee, and this huge thunderstorm is rolling in. And right then, he remembers the voice of his mentor, Floyd. And Floyd's words come back to him as a kind of challenge, a test of his spirit. Now, this challenge, it came from a Lakota tradition, and it unfolds step by step. First, one lightning bolt cracks the sky. Then a second one hits, closer. Then a third, even closer. You can just feel the tension building with every single flash. And after that third bolt strikes, that's when the real test comes. The question is, will you get up and run? This is it. This is the ultimate test. Do you run away from this terrifying, overwhelming power, or do you hold your ground? So what did he do? Did he run? No, he did something so much more radical. He didn't just stay put. He completely surrendered. Instead of being afraid of the lightning, he actually prayed for it to find him, to take him, to finally carry him away from that crushing downward spiral. It was a plea for transformation, no matter what it cost. A moment like that, it just changes everything. So now, when he looks back as an older man, he sees his entire journey in a completely new light. And this section is all about that new perspective, about seeing the true shape of a life. Okay, so this right here, this is the whole game changer, the big aha moment of the entire story. That spiral, which felt like a one-way trip down into a dark funnel, gets totally reframed. He now sees it as a sine wave, a natural cyclical rhythm of rising and falling. And the key insight is this. The valleys that felt like total failure, they weren't endings at all. They were just inverted peaks. It's the exact same shape, just seen from a much wiser perspective. And once you see it that way, suddenly all that suffering, it starts to make sense. It wasn't just for nothing. As you can see, every single part of it had a vital role to play. The pain actually sharpened him. The comfortable numb protected him when he needed it most. And those prayers held him together through it all. So, what now? After you've been through the storm and you see things differently, what do you do with that wisdom? Well, this final part of the journey is about how that whole experience gets transformed into healing, into purpose, and into connection with other people. The lightning never actually struck him. It didn't take him away. Instead, it left him here. And it left him with this quiet, patient sense of purpose, breathing, writing, and just waiting, waiting for the next little green shoot of life to break through the mud after the storm. And I just love this metaphor for how he puts that purpose into action. His work, whether it's writing or even knitting, it becomes a way of creating something that can offer comfort. It's this beautiful idea of turning your own experience into a source of warmth and healing for others. And he's so clear about why he does it. The whole point of sharing this story of knitting that sweater is to reach back. It's to reach the people who are exactly where he used to be. The ones who are still trapped, still circling their own walls, still caught in their own spiral. And the whole story ends with this incredibly powerful Lakota phrase, which brings everything to this beautiful universal conclusion. Mitakuye oyasin. We are all related. The suffering, the healing, this whole journey from a spiral to a sine wave, it's not just one person's story. In a way, it belongs to all of us.